السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ثم ما بعد. We'll continue our class in going over the book الفتاوى الوادعية أو الأجوبة الوادعية عن الأسئلة النسائية, the answers of Sheikh Muqbil bin Hadi al-Wadi'i rahimahullah regarding questions from the women. As always, before we start, we will take a couple of questions بإذن الله تعالى from the listeners. So the first question that we have is regarding praying in masjid. So the sister asked, praying in masjid, where do children pray in congregation? Is there any difference for boys and girls? Because from what I heard, boys should pray in the last row before females, while girls in the first row before females. Is there any wisdom in this kind of arrangement? So in regards to that, we say Barakallahu Fikum. We will start with talking about boys. And boys, of course, there are boys of different ages. Those who are under 7 and those who are over 7 years old. So, and the people of knowledge usually mention 7 years old because that is the age of being able to recognize right from wrong, to understand what they are supposed to do during the salah. This is the time in which they are commanded. The Messenger ﷺ said, command your children to pray at the age of 7. So this is the time in which the children are commanded to start praying. And the people of knowledge, they say commanding them to pray means also commanding them how to pray and teaching them how to pray and how to prepare for the salah, such as performing wudu and being upon purity and the likes of these things. So the people of knowledge, they say children who are under 7, they do not recognize what they're supposed to do and how to purify themselves and how to perform wudu and the likes of these things. So, and this is the opinion of some of the people of knowledge, and they say, therefore, children who are under the age of 7, and we're still talking about boys specifically for a reason, and we'll come back, inshallah, to talk about girls and what they're supposed to do. So boys under the age of 7, the people of knowledge, they say that if a boy under the age of 7 is in the row, he actually cuts that row and makes a gap in the row, because he might not be upon purity, he might not be upon wudu for boys under 7. This is the opinion of some of the people of knowledge. And we heard this, that our Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Maysan, hafidhahullah, he considers this to be the stronger opinion. Of course, kids they have different maturity levels and ages, so that also depends on the maturity of the child. Some children, they mature faster than others, and by the age of 7 or before the age of 7, they might have already learned how to stand in the prayer and how to pray without movement, without doing anything. And some children who are even after the age of 7, they are not so. Meaning that they, even after the age of 7, some children continue to play around and move and the likes of these things. So that should be also recognized. Now, boys who are older than 7, if they come to the salah, the people of knowledge, they say if they come to the salah, and the boy, this child is diligent and wants to attend the salah and pray, and he tries to pray properly, and he takes a place in the row, then he should not be moved back. Because as Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, he said, even if he is younger, he came first, and he has the right, since he is commanded to pray, or he is that his parents are supposed to command him to pray. Therefore, he is in that case, he was the first, or he arrived before you. You have no right to remove him from the row and to take his place, and rather he has the right for that position that he took when he arrived early. And this is in regards to boys past the age of 7. And in general, their fathers, the fathers of their of those boys who are at 7 years old or older, should try to bring them to the masajid, because they should learn how to pray in the congregation, they should learn how to behave in the masjid, they should learn how to be part of that masjid and that community. And as is said, من شب على شيء شاب عليه. whomsoever starts something at a young age will continue to be upon it until old. So if he is used to being in the masajid and amongst the Muslims and in the gatherings of knowledge and the likes of these things, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala they will continue to be upon that. So this is something that is highly encouraged, especially for the boys, because at the end they are commanded to attend the congregations and to attend the Jumu'ah prayer, and also to sit in the gatherings of knowledge and be with the Muslims. So their fathers should bring them with them to the masajid and should teach them how to behave in the masajid. So not only bring them, it is sad that you see some brothers and they bring their children and they leave them in the back to do whatever they want, and they are sitting in the front or they are praying, and their children are just playing around in the masjid and possibly distracting those who are trying to pray or seek knowledge or sit in the gatherings of knowledge. So this should not be the case. This is in regards to boys. Boys under the age of 7 in general should not be brought to the masajid. One should not bring his son who is under the age of 7, and this is for boys and girls. In general, they should not bring them to the masajid, because they will, like we said, they are still not mature, they still don't know how to properly behave in the masajid, and therefore they would distract those who are praying, those who are reciting Quran, and those who are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those who are teaching and studying and the likes. So there will be a distraction to them, and therefore they should not be brought to the masajid. But like we said, one child to another is different, and they can be brought, of course, if there is a reason, if there is a need, if there is a reason, such as, for example, there is no one at home to take care of him, and the father, he has to come to the masjid to pray or to sit in the jama'ah or anything like that. Likewise, the mother, if the sister, she takes care of the children, and there's no one home for her to leave the children with, and she wants to go and attend a class with sisters, then she can bring her children, as long as she tries her best to teach them how to sit, how to behave, how to not distract others, and she pays attention to them. Not that she comes and leaves them to do whatever they want, and she goes to pray or to sit in the classes or whatever it is, and her children are playing around. And girls in general, the people of knowledge, they say that girls in general, they are not commanded to come to the jama'ah, because the women are not commanded to attend the jama'at, the congregations, or the Jumu'ah, the Friday prayers. So the sisters in general, they should not try to bring the girls to the masajid. It is not something that they should be encouraged to do, and rather they are encouraged to stay at home, unless, like was mentioned before, for example, if the sister, she wants to seek knowledge, she wants to sit in the gatherings of knowledge, and she has a daughter who is mature enough to also sit and listen and possibly benefit, then she should bring her. She should bring her to the masjid, and or if there are classes for the sisters or the girls, whether it is Quran recitation classes or Arabic language, or that she brings her to learn Aqidah, Tawheed, and other than that, especially if there are programs in the masjid specific for the children at that age, then she should bring her, inshallah. She should bring her to benefit. So the matter is looked at. Now, where do they stand in the prayer? Like we said, children who are over the age of 7, they stand where they stand. It is best to have them standing next to their parents, because this way they learn from their parents, and they learn how to stand and where to stand, what to do. And his father or the mother of the daughter, she sees her daughter, for example, moving the wrong way, doing something that she's not supposed to do, she can grab her, she can move her closer, she can point to her to calm down if she's moving too much. So that should be the case. Barakallahu fikum. Now, girls who are under the age of 7, boys and girls under the age of 7, they in general should not be brought to the masjid. However, if the person does need to bring them, one thing to do is to go all the way, for the person to go all the way to the end of the row, to stand in the end of the row and have his child or her child, for the sister as well, to have her child sitting next to her on the opposite side of the row. This way, first of all, she does not bother anyone. She is by the wall, for example, next to a wall. So she's not bothering anyone. If she plays around, if she moves around, she would not be bothering any of the sisters next to her. And in addition, like we said, children under the age of 7, and this is a strong opinion of the people of knowledge, is that they actually cut the row, and they are considered to be a gap in the row. So by way of having her at the end of the row, or the child, and there's no harm if the child is under the age of 7, he can pray with his mother. There's no harm, inshallah. So he can pray next to his mother, and if, like I said, she stands at the end of the row and she has her child, a boy or a girl who is under the age of 7, next to her, next to the wall. So she's not bothering anyone, and at the same time, she's not considered to be causing a gap in the row. That would be best, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Now, another question from a sister is in regards to while praying, feeling some liquid or some fluid coming out of the private parts. Should she stop praying and check, or should she continue? No, she should continue. She should continue. The Messenger ﷺ, he said regarding if someone feels the pressure of gas, that he wants to release gas while praying, and he feels like something is being released or some of the gas is released, the Messenger ﷺ, he said he does not stop his prayer until he hears the sound of passing wind, or he hears the sound or smells the scent, the smell. And so this means that one should not stop his prayer unless he is certain that he broke his wudu. This is when one should stop his prayer, when one is certain. So if the sister she feels some fluid coming out of her private parts, then she should not stop her prayer, and especially so that as the people of knowledge, Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, he has a lengthy discussion regarding fluids coming from the private parts of the women, that it is that they do not break her wudu. Unless, of course, it is that she is on her menses, in which case, of course, she cannot pray, and that would break her wudu. Otherwise, he said that naturally, the fluids that come out naturally, that they do not from the women's private parts, that they do not break her wudu. This is the opinion of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah. And in any case, regardless of whether or not the sister takes this opinion, it's still, and this is without a doubt as a strong opinion. This is a strong opinion, and it should be known that regardless of the case, one should not stop his prayer unless he is certain, unless with certainty. So she should not stop her prayer in order to go and check, and rather she should continue her prayer. Now, we go back to the book itself, and we take some of the questions, and we go through some of the questions and answers by Sheikh Muqbil bin Hadi al-Wadi'i rahimahullah, that he was asked by sisters, by the women. So the sister asked, هل يجوز أخذ المال في تعليم الأطفال للقرآن? Is it permissible for me to take money for teaching children to recite the Quran, or to teach the Quran to children? Shaykh rahimahullah, he said, لا تشترطي. He said, do not make it as a condition. وأما إذا أعطيت من دون اشتراط أو جاء فاعل خير وقال أريد أن تعلمي أبنائي أو تعلمي أبناء المسلمين وأنا أعطيك في الشهر كذا وكذا فلا بأس إن شاء الله ولو جاء شخص وما عنده مال نعلمه. So the Shaykh rahimahullah, he said, do not make it a condition. And if someone comes and he says, if someone gives you without you mentioning and putting a condition for teaching the Quran. So for example, some people, they say the fee to teach the Quran is such and such. It should not be the case, and rather, if someone, he said, if someone gives you, so you teach their children, for example, and he gives you money, or he or she gives you money for teaching his children without you mentioning the specific fee, then there's no harm. And then he said, or a person, he comes and says, I want you to teach my children, or to teach the Muslims in general, such as, for example, in a masjid or in a school, they tell you, we want you to teach Quran, and we want to give you a salary of such and such. He said, there's no harm, inshallah ta'ala. Now, and if someone comes and doesn't have money, we should not we should teach his children without even if he doesn't have the money, even if he's not able to pay. قال الشيخ رحمه الله أما حديث أحق ما أخذتم عليه أجرا كتاب الله. He said, the Shaykh رحمه الله, he said, as for the hadith, the best that you would, the most righteous thing or rightful thing that you take, you take a salary or you take a fee or you take money for, is the book of Allah. قال فالمراد به أجر الرقية. What is meant in it is the recompense for ruqya, for reciting upon the sick, for example. قال وقصر على سببه. And he said it should be limited to the reason of the hadith, the reason of the mentioning of the hadith. قال لأدلة تقتضي ذلك, because of proofs that indicate that. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول في القرآن, because the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he says in regards to the Quran, إنه سيأتي أقوام يتعجلونه ولا يتأجلونه, because there will come people who will hasten its reward and do not await its reward, meaning in the hereafter. So they hasten the reward of the Quran by way of asking for money or recompense for the recitation or the teaching of the Quran. Now, another sister, she asked, كيف موقفنا أو كيف موقف سلفنا الصالح في تعليم أهليهم؟ سؤال مهم جدا. This is a very important question. So the sister asked, what is the way of our righteous predecessors in regards to teaching their families? قال الشيخ رحمه الله, the Shaykh رحمه الله said, تقدم شيء من هذا. We already mentioned something similar to that. والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كما في الصحيحين. The Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, as is collected in the two collections of authentic ahadith by Imam al-Bukhari wa Muslim, قال ثلاثة يعطون أجرهم مرتين. There are three people who will be given their recompense and their reward twice. وذكر منهم رجل له أمة فأدبها فأحسن تأديبها وعلمها فأحسن تعليمها ثم أعتقها وتزوجها. So the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said one of them is a man who has a female servant, and he teaches her and he disciplines her in a good way, in a good manner, and he teach her the knowledge in a good way and good manner, and then he frees her and he marries her. قال فأمر مهم أن يؤدب الرجل امرأته في حدود الكتاب والسنة. It is important for the person to teach his wife based upon the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم. فإن النساء ناقصات عقل ودين, because the women in general, they have shortcomings in regards to their intellect and in regards to their religion. كما أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بذلك, as the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم informed in regards to this. Do you not see the women, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, واستشهدوا شهيدين من رجالكم فإن لم يكونا رجلين فرجل وامرأتان ممن ترضون من الشهداء أن تضل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that the witnessing of two women is like the witness, the testimony of one man. This is their shortcomings in regards to their intellect and in regards to their their intellect. And likewise, they have shortcomings in regards to their religion, that they have to leave the salah and the siyam for the days of their menses. So this is a form of shortcomings in their religion. Yes, of course, there's no doubt that some women are much better than many of the men. There is no doubt about that. Some women are much better than many of the men. However, this is a general statement that the women in general, they have this shortcoming in regards to their intellect and in regards to their religion. قال كما أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بذلك, as the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم informed us in regards to that. يؤدبها, he teaches her, وهكذا أيضا يعلمها ما تحتاج إليه من العلم, he teaches her that which she needs from the knowledge. ما يكون مثلا يقول ما يكون مثلا ائتي بالقهوة وبالشاي وبالغداء وأكثرت الملح في الغداء إلى آخره في الغداء إلى آخره. So he said رحمه الله, he is teaching the man in this case. He said the man should not be, his only concern is bring me coffee, bring me tea, bring me food. Why is the food salty, and so on and so forth. This should not be his main concern. And قال meaning that his concern should be how to save his wife and his children from the hellfire. How is the man supposed to teach his wife to be a student of knowledge, to help her? Even if he does not do the actual teaching, at least help her, guide her, help her, show her how to seek knowledge, what to study, who to study from. Pay attention to this matter. قال المهم المشاكل مع أهلي أما التعليم فلا. يعني what is most important for him is to raise concerns and have problems with his family, and when it comes to knowledge, he's heedless of that, and his he does not care about this matter. قال تقول له علمني. She might even say to him, teach me. يقول أنا عندي دروس. He tells her, I have classes. نعم إذا عندك دروس فقد هيأ الله من يعلمها من فضل الله. He said, yes, if you are busy, you have classes, you are busy, you have other things, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His bounty, He made it possible for her, someone who would teach her. هناك نساء قد أصبحن مستفيدات. He said, rahimahullah, he said there are women who became strong students of knowledge. وأصبحن باحثات, to the point of being able to research matters of the religion and matters of of the knowledge. قال بل يجب أن يحمد الله سبحانه وتعالى إذا رأى امرأته راغبة في طلب العلم. Rather, he should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if one finds his wife that she is diligent in regards to seeking knowledge, وأن يساعدها, and to help her and aid her in regards to that. والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. And Allah helps and aids the servant as long as the servant helps and aids his brother. قال إذا لم نحرص على تعليم نسائنا وعلى تعليم أبنائنا وعلى تعليم أولادنا يخشى علينا بعد أيام أن يخونونا فلا نتدري إلا وقد أصبحت المرأة جاسوسة عليك كما حدث في مصر في زمان بعض الحكام. قال وكما حدث في غير بلد ما يدري الرجل إلا وامرأته قد أصبحت جاسوسة عليه وولده قد أصبح جاسوسا عليه. What the Shaykh rahimahullah is mentioning and is saying, that if we are not diligent in regards to raising and teaching our wives and our children, then it is just a matter of time that we find that they change, and perhaps they could become against us. They could become against us, and we lose them, as they say, because of the weakness that they have, and because that the matters of doubts and innovations, and also the matters of desires are many. So we should be very diligent in guiding our children and our wives, our families. قال فأمر مهم كل مولود يولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. He said every child is born upon that natural disposition and natural belief, and then his parents, they make him a Jew, a Christian, or a fire worshipper. قال فأمر مهم نعم. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما يرويه عن ربه إني خلقت عبادي حنفاء فاجتالتهم الشياطين وتأخذ المرأة ما تحتاج إليه كما تقدم من التعليم وإن كانت أعلم من زوجها فأنصحها أن تعلمه وهو لا يتكبر لا ينال العلم مستحي ولا مستكبر. He said so the women, they should seek knowledge, and they should be diligent in seeking knowledge, and if she becomes stronger in knowledge than her husband, then she can teach him, and he should not have loftiness and refuse to take from his wife, and rather he should learn from her. And one who has who is ashamed of seeking knowledge, or one who has loftiness and arrogance, will never learn. قال وقد عرفتم أن هشام بن عروة تتلمذ على امرأته فاطمة بنت المنذر رحمه الله ورضي عنها. He said Hisham ibn Urwa, he studied under his wife Fatima bint al-Mundhir. May Allah have mercy on him, and may Allah be pleased with her. فإذا كانت أعلم منه, so if the woman is more knowledgeable than her husband, فلا ينبغي أن يتكبر ويقول أنا لا أتعلم منها. So he should not have arrogance and say I will not learn from her. بل يجب أن يستفيد منها, but rather he should benefit from her. وأن يحمد الله الذي يسر له من يعلمه في بيته. And he should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who made it possible for him that he finds in his own house someone who will teach him. Wallah al-musta'an. And we depend and trust and seek the help and the aid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وعلى كل مستويات النساء تختلف. He said, and in any ways, the levels of the women are different. فينبغي أن نعمل بالعلم في حدود ما نستطيع إذا أردنا أن يبارك الله لنا في علمنا So we should act upon the knowledge that we gain and we study, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us blessings in our knowledge. فَلَا غِيبَةَ وَلَا نَمِيمَ وَلَا سُخْرِيَ مِنَ الْجِيرَانِ. So now he is advising the women, especially those who want to seek knowledge and to learn how they are supposed to be and how they are supposed to deal with others. He said that they do not backbite and they do not spread rumors, nor do they mock their neighbors. وَلَا سُخْرِيَةَ أَيْضًا مِنَ الزَّوْجِ. And of course, very important that she does not make fun of her husband and mock her husband and the likes. وَلَا تَعْيِيرٍ لِلْآخَرِينَ. Nor should she belittle others. بل يجب أن نقتدي برسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. But rather we should take the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم as our example. وأن نحمد الله سبحانه وتعالى إذ يسر لنا بالمكتبتين نتمتع بهما. يعني he said we should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he gave us two libraries. Referring, rahimahullah, the Shaykh rahimahullah here is referring to the library of the men and the library of the women. Because in his center, he used to have two libraries, a library for men and a library for women. And there's no doubt that this was from his diligence, rahimahullah, in making sure that even the women, that they study and some of them become students of knowledge. And there's no doubt that from his students, and in general, from the students of the mashayikh, there are sisters who are students of knowledge, who are strong students of knowledge, who can help the sisters and answer their questions and teach them their deen. There's no doubt that this is an excellent matter. So, my advice to the sisters is do not belittle yourself and say, are the sisters going, what am I going to do? If I learn, what do I do? Wallahi, you do a lot. You teach your children, you teach the sisters around you, you help your husband. If he is a student of knowledge, you help him in regards to his seeking of knowledge and teaching the people. And if he is not a student of knowledge, you help him by way of even teaching him, even if it is indirectly, that you help him learn and study. قال الشيخ رحمه الله أنا أعتبر الشخص إذا كان في المكتبة أحسن من الشخص الذي تقدم إليه مائدة من جميع الأطعمة الفاخرة. He said, subhanallah, may Allah have mercy on him. He said, I consider the man or woman, the person who is in a library, to be in a better place than one who is sitting on a feast with all types of food. فأنت إن أحببت أن تقرأ في اللغة العربية أو في التوحيد أو في كتب الرجال وهكذا أيضا في سير علمائنا في السيرة النبوية. So if you were to study, whether it is in the Arabic language or Tawheed, or in regards to the criticism and praise of individuals, قال وهكذا أيضا, likewise the biographies of our scholars and the life story of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. قال هذه نعمة من الله عز وجل. He said this is a bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, يجب أن نحمد الله على ما يسر لنا من هذا الخير الكثير. We should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that which He gave us from this great bounty of His. وأما أهل الدنيا, as for the people of the worldly matters, فرب العزة يقول لنبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to His Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. And remain patient with those who worship their Lord and supplicate to their Lord in the morning and the evening, seeking the face of their Lord, and do not extend your eyes beyond them, wanting the worldly pleasures, and do not follow and obey the one whom we made heedless. His heart is heedless from our remembrance, and he follows his desires, and his matter is at last. قال فربما تكون المرأة مع صاحب دنيا طول يومها. He said the woman might be with one of the worldly matters in all of her day. وهي في شغل وهي في عناء لا تستطيع أن تفتح كتابا. And she is busy, and she is in a difficult situation that she is not able to open books. بل أعظم من ذلك أنها ربما تكون مستفيدة. That what is worse than that is that she might be a strong student of knowledge, and she's not able to study because her husband does not want her to study, or he keeps her busy, as the Shaykh rahimahullah mentioned, that all he wants is and his concern is the food and the house and the likes. And then when it comes to her benefiting or learning or studying, he does not want her to do so. قال إياك أن تتعلمي العلم النافع وأن تصبحي مرجعا ينفع الله بك الإسلام والمسلمين ثم تلطمي نفسك في عامي ثم تلطمي نفسك في عامي. He said, beware of becoming a student of knowledge, or someone who has knowledge, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might allow the Muslims and Islam to benefit by way of you, and then you get stuck with someone who is not knowledgeable, and someone from the awam, from the general folk who do not study and do not care about the matters of knowledge. قال من شعبة بن الحجاج قد نسيت شعبة بعدما تعبت أنا أرى في الدفتر شيئا عجيبا فوائد تشد إليها الرحال أسأل الله أن يبارك فيكن. قد يعني the Shaykh rahimahullah, he said يعني perhaps referring to something that he saw in one of the notebooks of some of the sisters, that he found a note, and he said this is a benefit, a note that he found in a benefit in one of the notebooks of one of the sisters. He found a benefit that it is worthy of traveling to collect this benefit. So the sister, she was researching and she was studying. قال وبعد ذلك أقبح من ذلك أن أباك الشجع يأتيه واحد خمار ويعطيه سيارة ويبيعك بسيارة. He said what is worse is, Allah al-Musta'an, some fathers, he said that you might be a student of knowledge, the sister might be a student of knowledge, and her father is all he cares about is worldly matters. And someone who comes to him and gives him money, and he gives her off in marriage. He said, إياك أن يبيعك بسيارة. He said, beware that you become basically sold. He gives him a car, and he gives the sister, or he gives his daughter in marriage for a car. He's selling her. قال حتى لو قلت أنا سأؤجل الزواج حتى يلين أبوك ويزوجك برجل صالح أو ويزوجك برجل صالح. He said, even if it means that you delay marriage, until your father becomes softer and he gives you to someone who is righteous. قال أو يبيعك بعمارة أو ب200,000 أو 300,000. قال أنت خير من الملايين. He said, that your father, perhaps if he is stingy and he's materialistic and all he cares about is worldly matters, he might sell you for a building or 100,000 or 200,000. He said, you are more precious than millions. Shaykh rahimahullah, he said the student of knowledge from the sisters is more precious than the millions and all of the wealth and the worldly matters. قال أنت طالبة علم. You are a student of knowledge. إياك أن يبيعك بما لا ينفعك ولا ينفع أباك. He said, beware that he sells you with that which does not benefit you nor benefits him. مثل الجليس الصالح وجليس السوء كحامل المسك ونافخ الكير. And then the Shaykh rahimahullah mentioned the example that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, that the good companion and the bad companion is like the one who has the perfume and the blacksmith. The good companion is like one who has perfume, and the bad companion is like the blacksmith. As for the one who has perfume, قال حامل المسك إما أن يهديك وإما أن تبتاع منه وإما أن تجد منه ريحا طيبة. The person who has the good the perfume, either he gives it to you as a gift, the good sister, or your husband, if he is righteous and is a student of knowledge, either he gives you the knowledge as a gift, وإما أن تبتاع منه, or you might even to the point of buying it from him, meaning you give him in return. وإما أن تجد منه ريحا طيبة. Even if you do not get the knowledge from him, the least that you get is to smell and find the good essence and the good smell. And this, without a doubt, is the way of the people of righteousness. That even if you do not take from their righteousness, the least that you find is their good manners. That you find that they treat you well and they are good towards you. Why? Because he's a righteous person. قال ونافخ الكير. As for the blower of the fire, meaning the blacksmith, إما أن يحرق ثيابك. Either he burns your clothes meaning that he gives you from his harm. وَإِمَّا أَن تَجِدَ رِيحًا خَبِيثًا, or the least that you find is the bad smell. And this, without a doubt, is a beautiful example, because likewise the evil companion, either he gives you from his evil, and at the end you have some of that evil with you, or at least you find his bad manners, his ill manners. If he is someone who is sinful and someone who is an evil companion, the least that you find is his bad manners. قال الشيخ رحمه الله يعني وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والرجل على دين خليله, and the man is upon the religion of his companion. So this is the Shaykh rahimahullah is advising the women in regards to who they should get married to, that they should be diligent to get married to the students of knowledge, to the righteous brothers, so that they continue to be able to steadfast and they help them upon their religion and upon continuing to seek knowledge. قال يقول الله تعالى ويوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني وكان الشيطان للإنسان خذولا. On the day in which the wrongdoer will bite on his hands and he says, I wish I took my way with the Prophet, with the Messenger. I wish I did not take so and so as a beloved companion. He misguided me from the guidance after it came to me. And the shaitan betrays the people. قال هذا في شأن الرجال. This is in regards to the men. فما ظنك بالمرأة الضعيفة? What about the women who are weaker without a doubt? ربما إذا أحبت زوجها وقال لها تصلي إلى المغرب ربما قد تحولت القبلة والصلاة الآن إلى المغرب. هؤلاء الذين يصلون إلى الشام يعتبرون مخطئين. فالمرأة إذا أحبت زوجها تمشي بعده وتضيع معلوماتها ودينها أو تضيع معلوماتها ودينها. So the Shaykh rahimahullah said, if the woman comes to the point that she loves her husband, she will follow him, even if he was to misguide her. And he mentioned an example. He said that, of course, he was in Yemen. So he said, even if her husband tells her to pray towards the west, the west, of course, the qibla of the people of Yemen is towards the north. So he said, those who pray towards the north, that her husband tells her, those who pray towards the north are wrong, she will follow him if she loves him. قال فوالله إن نساء قال فمن الآن والتوفيق بيد الله تعالى كما أنه يجب على الأزواج من أهل السنة أن ييسروا ولا يعسروا وألا يكونوا سببا لتنفير النساء من التزوج بأهل السنة فوالله إن نساء بالمئات يرغبن أن يتزوجن بأهل السنة ولكن ما رأيت أخا ما يأتي أخ ينفر أو ينفر بشر ولا تنفر ويسر ولا تعسر إن هذا الدين يسر ولن يشاد الدين أحد إلا غلبه. So the Shaykh rahimahullah is saying, make the matter easy in regards to getting married to the people of Sunnah, the people of righteousness. قال ليس لأدنى كلمة تتكلم معك تعطيها تضربها أو كذا وبالعصا. He said even for the husbands that they should be kind and merciful towards their wives. Not that she says a word, especially if she is from the people of Sunnah and she is a student of knowledge, because of a word, because of if she falls short in regards to some of her housework and the likes, that you go and hit her, for example, that you speak with harshness towards her. قال ويجب أن تبلغ جهدك في تعليمها. You should be very diligent in teaching her وتأديبها وتوجيهها وبيان أخطائها. You should point out her mistakes and teach her and make her understand her mistakes. But of course, without, as was mentioned before, without harshness, without belittling her. قال ثم بالنسوة الصالحات يؤدبنها ويخبرنها بخطئها. Likewise, وأن تستعين بالله سبحانه وتعالى, and you seek the help. The husband seeks the help and the aid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also the righteous sisters to also teach her. So they help him in teaching her. قال كلنا نخطئ رجالا ونساء. We all make mistakes. Men and women, we all make mistakes. We are bound to make mistakes. فإياكم أيها الإخوة أن تكون سببا لتنفير النساء بالتشديد. So he said, beware, O brothers, that you detract the women away from righteousness and from steadfastness and from seeking knowledge because of your harshness. نشدد عليهن فننفرهن عن الزواج بأهل السنة. He said that we are harsh towards them, and we make the women in general that they dislike getting married to the people of Sunnah. قال من فضل الله أن كثيرا من النساء يرغبن بالزواج بسني على أي حال. From the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that many of the women that they wish that they get married to the people of Sunnah regardless of the situation. وترغب أن تتعلم دينها, and she wants to learn her religion. فقال فتحمد الله, يعني we should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال بل أخبرت أن بعض النساء من أخواتنا الجنوبيات جزاهن الله خيرا ربما تشترط على زوجها أن يذهب بها إلى دماج. So he said, I was informed that some of the sisters from the south of Yemen, that they used to make it as a condition that if they want to get, if someone comes to marry them, that they say, our condition is that you take us to study in Damaj. Of course, Damaj was the center where Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah used to teach. May Allah have mercy on him. He had his center in Damaj. نعم. قال من أجل أن تتعلم, so that she would learn. ومن أجل أن تدرس, and that she would study. قال والحمد لله الدروس على أحسن ما يرام وأنا أعتقد أنهن وفقنا إلى الدروس والله المستعان. And he said, Alhamdulillah, by the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the classes are going and they are very beneficial. Yani, as we mentioned before, but with the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His mercy, nowadays it is possible for the sisters and the brothers to learn regardless where they are. Regardless where they are, of course, we do recommend for the sisters to be with good companions, to find good sisters to be with and to be in their company. However, alhamdulillah, with the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the matter of seeking knowledge has become very easy nowadays. Yani, alhamdulillah, there are many classes that you can find online. You can get books online, very beneficial books, and you can study and seek knowledge regardless where you are. And this is from the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you should be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you should also be grateful and show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of acting upon this. And by way of doing the things that are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from the greatest of that is to learn His religion and to study and seek knowledge. And we will conclude with this. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.